wanted to thank you. Back in 2003, I was in the Marines, part of the first wave into Iraq. Now, you can imagine the quality of life there for the first few months, at least, was horrible. My mom was back home recording Mike and the Mad Dogs. After a few months, she sent a couple dozen copies over. And when we got mail and everything, we would actually listen to Mike and the Mad Dog in the Humvees.
How good is that?
Any free time we had.
How good is that?
And
I wish you would have told us. We would have prepared shows for you guys. I'm telling you, we could have gone on. If they had that Armed Forces radio, they could have told us. We would have done it for free. We would have done a show every week for you guys.
Well, when I was there, it was when it first kicked off, so we had nothing. But like I said, after about a few months.
So are you still in the service?
No, I got out. No, wait. But I wanted to thank you for that.
Well, thank you for your service, first of all. It's more important, but thank you.
Well, thank you for the third. And, I serve a lot of guys from New York, and it helped a lot because, being over there, besides the obvious, being away from home
I'm sure.
is probably the worst part. And having a little bit of
I'm sure.
home come over
Christmas
there.
must be tough being away, huh?
It was rough. No, I wasn't there Christmas time. We kicked it started March 12th of 2003.
It didn't take long, right? Yeah.
It didn't take long, and I came home in August. I was there for the 4th.
Gotcha.
Yeah, it was rough, but I'm glad I did.
How many years were you in the service?
I did 6 years. I went in right after 9/11.
And did they have a job for you when you come out?
Yeah, I became a union electrician.
Oh, good. Okay.
So
I think that should be automatic. I think you guys should have jobs as soon as you come out. I think there should be automatic jobs for you guys when you come out.
Yeah, they do. I mean, there are services to help you get there.
Good.
But like I said, I've been listening to it since.
Well, thank you. Appreciate it very much. Thank you. What's up with your Cowboys?
Well, nothing usually. But my question is, do you think? Because I think Garrett's terrible, and it's his 7 years, and we're looking at probably another 8 and 8. My question. It looks like he's going to stick around. Do you think he's the coach that can take a team over?
Definitely can. He could have last year. Listen, this year's not his fault. The team was about clicking. You got to remember, and you know this, 2 things happened to your team. Well, really 3. Elliott went out, Lee got hurt, and Smith went down. Those 3 things, your team was doing great when that happened.
Yeah, they were. But let me ask you something. Like, doesn't a coach still have me? I'm looking at the Packers. They're winning with Brett Hundley. I see can Garrett win if there's no adjustment because you lose as a star. You got to win some games. He won nothing with Romo. Lost 7 games in a row. I saw Brandon Wheaton go to the Texans and win, so he can't win any games there. You lose Elliott. Can you make any adjustment? Can you win a game without a star player once in a while?
Well, they've built this team around that running game, and when that running game doesn't work, they don't win. That's really what it comes down to. It really does. That's the way they're built. Joe in Saratoga, what's up, Joe? Joe going once. Not there. Andy, go ahead. Andy in Whippany, New Jersey. What's up, Andy?
Hey, Mike. Congratulations on 30.
Thank you.
I've talked to you about 3 times, plus I've been down to Bar A a couple times.
Good, thank you. What's happening?
First of all, I'm a baseball guy, Seton Hall grad, baseball, football.
Gotcha.
What I do now is I'm heavily involved in all kinds of statistics. I work for banks, brokerage.
Gotcha.
The Yankees, when they went to hire Joe Girardi, selected him over Don Mattingly because he was very proficient and he was somewhat on the ball because he's an engineer with numbers.
Correct.
So they bring Girardi on, and what Joe did is managed off his book and off his statistics.
Yep.
What is going to really, I'm listening the past 3 days because I'm working on proposals for 2018, and what I'm seeing here is bringing a guy on like the new manager, Boone. Yep. You don't need a guy who's, what I build is executive dashboards for a business to drive right in and find out what's going on.
Right.
Conversely, a person could go in and manage and right now skip the manager and put a guy on the field and drive things from corporate.
Well, the problem is you still got moment-to-moment decisions that you have to make that, you're not going to be able to run up any information on. There's still an idea where you get to the point, do you see something from the pitcher that you can believe in? Or you're not going to just make the matchups on rote. You have to decide whether the starting pitcher is exhausted or not. You got to decide whether you like this matchup or not. Does this guy have it today? Does this guy not have it today? So I understand you can take the cold numbers to a certain level, but you can't take the human element completely out of it. Not completely. Eric in Long Island, what's up, Eric?
Mike, good afternoon. Before my college football question, just want to say good luck at Mulcahy's. I'm going to miss your head seats, unfortunately, but
Thank you.
I got great seats for Cowboys, Giants, and I'm a Cowboy fan.
I understand. No problem. What's happening?
I can't give that up. So,
what's happening?
I hope we'll see how the fan ratio is at that game. My question is about the college football. I didn't get a chance, to speak to you, obviously, right when Alabama got picked in the head of Ohio State. Here's my question. I'm a Big Ten fan. I'm a Michigan fan. So, obviously, I feel no sympathy for Ohio State. But to me, it seems when a conference has 3 reps in the top 9 in the country, the conference champ should be in. The Ohio State gained nothing by playing Oklahoma in week 2. I don't really understand why they put them on. If you're Ohio State, you just run the table, you're going to get in. If they don't have Oklahoma on their schedule at all, a one-loss conference champion gets in over Alabama. So what did Ohio State gain by putting Oklahoma on their schedule? The lower-ranked teams have to do it. I get it. If you're a top 5, 6 team in the country, what do you gain by putting a non-conference?
You are 100% correct. There is no reason, Eric, for an Ohio State to ever reach out of conference anymore. You are 100% right. They're going to play enough teams in their conference. They are going to play enough teams that will allow them, should they have their season, 1 loss, no loss, they will be in the tournament. So there is nothing to gain from those games. Now, sometimes people like to measure themselves. Sometimes they like to give their fan base something exciting. They also want a national TV game, which helps national recruiting. That can be the reason why you do it. But are you taking a risk? Absolutely. Because if Oklahoma had another game, if Ohio State had another game on their schedule and won it easily and only had the 1 loss, they would be in the game. That is true. Dave and Deal, what's up, Dave?
Hey, what's going on, Mike?
What's happening?
No, nothing yet. I had a few other things I wanted to jump on, but one thing, Gary, I hear what you're saying, but those last 2 games to Green Bay, he did terrible things with the clock late in the game. He did some real bad management late in the game. If you look back and watch some of those games,
they got beat. They got beat by the brilliant. Are you talking about the playoff game? They got beat by the brilliance of Aaron Rodgers. He made plays that were outrageous.
Agreed. Partly agree. He could have managed it better, though. As a fan, you just get
right. But you got beat by a great player. Is what you got.
For sure. Agreed. Are you going to have Jay Wright on, Greg Marshall, Rick Pitino, any of those coaches? I know you have a great relationship with them.
Rick Pitino's not going to do interviews right now. Okay, so Jay Wright's already been on. He could be on for a couple minutes next week. Marshall, I'm not sure yet. And Rick is not going to do interviews right now. You know that. Ryan and Breezy Point, what's up, Rick? Oh, what's up, Ryan?
Hey, Mike. I was actually calling to talk about the Knicks, but something kind of came to me. If I can bring it up.
Go ahead.
One thing you said yesterday about the Giant, in reference to the Giants situation, and we kind of thought about it at the beginning of the year with the Jets, is like the object is to win the game no matter what point of the season you're in. Like when someone was pushing you on Eli starting, I'm like, the way the NFL is set up, if you're 2-10, why is the object to go out and win when you can improve your team exponentially based on where you fall in the draft?
Because the guy who owns the team believes in the division, he believes in the rivalries, and he does not look for his team to ever not perform well. He would rather his team perform well and worry about it from there.
From your opinion or from the owner's opinion?
I'm talking about from the owner's opinion. The owner's opinion is that.
But it behooves him to get the best possible draft pick.
Not in his mind, it doesn't.
Right now.
Not in his mind. So he would rather beat the Dallas Cowboys this week.
The Dallas Cowboys and
absolutely.
So 4-12.
Absolutely.
And not have access to a guy who can make them so much better.
Absolutely, because it's still not automatic that you can tell me where he's going to draft or not, because you can't control all those other games. So you can't tell me you know what the draft pick's going to be. You can't. If I give you a record, you can't tell me what slot he's going to be in, because you can't control who's going to win and lose all those games. Maybe Indianapolis is going to win games. Maybe they're going to lose games. Maybe the Niners now are going to win 3 games in a row with Garoppolo and move out of the way. You don't know what's going to happen. But he does not want to go into games against division rivals, teams he competes against year in and year out in his building, and want his team losing every week in his building. They play 16 games a year over 17 weeks. Those games are precious to them. They don't ever want to lose one they can win. That's the point as a fan, where you are divided from the people who live that team and the teams in their blood. Those people, they don't ever want to lose a game. Any game they compete in, they want to win. That's how they think. That's how coaches think. That's how owners think. They don't want to lose. They want to win. They want to win this week. They want to be the best thing that happened to the Giants this week in their mind is beat the Cowboys and beat the Eagles. That's what they want to do. That's how they think about it. They play 16 games. They wait all year to play these games. They don't look to lose them. And they're on their record permanently. These games are they would rather win any game rather than lose a given game. That's just how they believe in football. It's how they compete. Not every season is going to be a winning one. Not every season is going to be a good one, but they don't want to give away any win they can get. Because winning is what it's about with them. Bob, go ahead. What's up?
Hey, Mike, how you doing?
Good, what's up?
I was just thinking about what you were saying about radio, and I think a big part of it is you're such a legend to all of us, and there's such a democracy, too. Like, guys like me can call in and speak to someone like you. It's a real special medium.
Well, thank you for that. But, I mean, listen, it's a pleasure to be here, and, it's just the Vehicle's a great show, and Sports Talk will be around for a very long time. So, from that standpoint, that's a lot of fun to do, and I get to do it a lot more than anybody else because I get to take more calls than anybody else, so that's what we do. We take a lot of them, we move them through quickly, that's what we do, so that everybody gets a chance. 4 o'clock, coming up, Brian Billick. After that, David Stern, so we got a couple of interviews coming up. We'll get into the league right now, and then we'll talk with the legendary commissioner, who is one of the great guests in the history of the show. 4 o'clock is Erica.